Aloha folks, and welcome to the Klipper Golf Course. Today I have the honor of being here with Wendell Tom. Wendell Tom is currently a local golf representative for some golf retail items, but Wendell is also a successful golfer. He's had a very successful golfing career. He is a local Hawaii Golf Hall of Fame member, and we were here to tell his story. So Wendell, currently, you are representing Scales.
I have one of my lines that I represent now is Scales, which is a printed tropical polo. And I also do dynamic brands, which includes Bag Boy, which is push carts, travel covers, umbrellas. I also do Volvic, which is a golf ball. And there's a couple other smaller lines that I carry. But I've been in this business for over 40 years now, so I've cut back a little bit and just still working, but not working as hard.
Nice. And I think initially, well, not initially, but the majority of the time that we worked together, you were the Adidas sales rep.
Yes.
How many years did you do Adidas?
I did Adidas for 15 years.
Wow.
And then 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Under Armour. I just recently resigned or retired from Under Armour after 10 years. I just thought it was a good time. So the last few years have been great. I did Under Armour, I did Adidas, and a lot of people don't know, but back in the early 90s or late 80s, I started with Nike. And Nike had just gotten into the golf business at the time. So,
what year was that again?
Late 80s. They had Curtis Strange, and he won a couple of U.S. Opens wearing Nike, and Peter Jacobson, and it was unfortunately before Tiger, but but I did, so I've had great luck representing some great lines. Obviously Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. I mean, not too many people can say they work for all three companies. Very fortunate.
Yeah, and you've done a great job with that, right? You've always helped supply us well.
Well, can I tell you what, Kevin, I've known you for probably 30 to 40 years now.
A long time.
And you've always supported me, and I thank you for always giving me the opportunity to get sell my products in your shop.
But it's a win-win, right? Yeah, we work together. But okay, so currently, right, we have Scales in the shop.
Yes.
And like I told you, I always receive compliments when I wear my Scales shirts.
Okay.
So it's proof that the brand is strong. And you have some really bold prints, right?
Okay. Well, I'm wearing a Scales right here. So
beautiful.
This is one of our more popular prints. And,
we find that in our shop, we sell a lot of floral Hawaiian tropical type prints, and Scales really fits into that, but they kind of bring a little twist to it in that they do a lot of vibrant contrasting colors. So their shirts are they pop. So we bring that in. We have we have your Scales in there. We also have done Bag Boy carts in the past, and we were just talking on our way up here about trying to do the electric cart
that we have called Volt. It's fairly new, and it's done very well for us.
So what's the MSRP on that one?
1600.
1600.
And it's like I said, it's electric cart. The battery is very compact, and overall weight is very light compared to most of the electric carts on the market.
So when you charge up that Volt, how long does that usually go for?
You charge it overnight, and for 8 hours, but it can go 2 rounds ago.
2 rounds. Great. That's great, because
so easily here. I mean, there's a few hills here, but easily 1 round would not an issue.
That's perfect. The reason I asked is, sometimes some of the electric operated vehicles, if they don't have enough charge, our golf course with the hills and whatnot, it sucks the life out of it. They barely make it in. But no, that's good. Okay, so So we'll probably bring that in soon. And in fact, you know, folks, if you're watching this video and you come into the shop when we're selling that product, let us know and we'll give you a discount on that item. We'll give you 15% off, okay? And I say we'll probably try to bring this in. Where are we at? No, we're in the end of April right now.
And today's the last day of April,
so we could get it in May.
Well, obviously because of the weight of the product, so we have to bring it in ocean freight. So I would say early June would be
okay. So this one is for the month of June.
Or maybe for a good Father's Day special.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So for the month of June, if you like, subscribe, and share this video, and then come into the shop and tell us you saw us, show us that, we'll give you 15% off on that pole. Okay. So that'll get us started.
Thank you.
So we'll do that, and then you sell us Volvic as well, right?
Volvic, which is a golf ball that's made in Korea, and they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
Very popular on the LPGA, but also with Volvic colored golf balls. They were the first to come out with the colored golf balls
really?
About 7 or 8 years ago.
No kidding.
And everybody has followed that.
Wow.
That's kind of that flat finish.
Yeah, the matte finish, right?
Exactly.
So the LPGA Tour, how many Volvic players you got on there approximately?
Well, because it's like I said, it's a Korean owned company, and there's a lot of Korean girls out there. Yeah.
So a handful play.
Easily a dozen.
Okay, that's nice. And then which one do they play?
They play the well, we have a couple of new tour balls, so that's what they would play. They don't play so much the colored balls, but they play the tour balls.
Tour balls.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure you play it as well, right?
Yes. And it's obviously we have a tough time competing with some of the better balls out there, but I mean, as far as performance, it performs very well.
Yeah. Is it more known for, as far as you're concerned, is it more of a distance ball or is it more of a spin ball?
We have both.
You have both.
We have both. Yeah.
Okay.
We have for the better balls, we have a 3-piece or 4-piece.
Okay.
But like I said, Volvic is known for the colored golf balls. They also have the license, which is what sells best for us. We have the license to do Disney products.
Right.
So we got the Mickey Mouse, the Minnie Mouse, the Donald Duck, all the Disney characters. Yeah. And we also do Marvel.
That's what we sell a lot of.
Yeah. Marvel is done very well with the superheroes.
Yeah.
And then what's new, it's coming down the pipe this summer, is Star Wars.
Oh, that's going to be huge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to sell that as well. I remember when Brandon was representing the line, right? I remember he came in one day and he says, "Kevin, we got these Marvel golf balls, and I would like you to try them." He said, we'll just try a little bit. And he said, "Don't worry, if they don't sell, I'll give you credit. We'll take them back." So I said, "Yeah, sure. I trust Brandon just like I trust you, right? I've got a relationship with him just as long as you." I said, "Yeah, come on, let's try it." In my mind, I thought, it'll do okay, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Within 1 week, they sold out.
Sold out.
And I called Brandon and I said, "Oh, Brandon, we sold it all."
I can't double my next order.
and he said, "Oh yeah, Kevin, it's been selling out all over the place. That's why I wanted you to try it." Right? And I couldn't believe it. But that's the funny thing is, and I learned this early on when I first started working in the capacity of buying merchandise for the pro shop. I used to think I knew what would sell. I used to think I knew what was good. Not so, because I have a very skewed perspective, right? My taste and where I am in my golfing journey is like that much, and it's the general public's taste and opinion and perspective that we have to try to figure out, right? So we have to keep our eyes and ears open to what they want, and it's 9 out of 10 times not the same thing as what I want.
Well, as a sales rep, sometimes we try to persuade you. Like, hey, you take a chance on a few
No,
different
and
items.
well, the thing is too, you know, as we're driving up and you were saying, "Hey, Kevin, you think you want to do the electric carts?" And I was like, I don't know, because we already got push carts, and we sell the V2, you know, the
Right.
electric wheels, and we've done well with that. I don't get a lot of requests for electric carts, but then I noticed that one of the members of our staff has one that he purchased online, and then I saw someone else, one of our regular customers, with that cart, and he said, "Yeah, Randy told me about it." And as we were having our discussion, that popped into my head. I said, "You know what? Here's another time when you think you know what you need to keep in the shop, but I think we need to try it. So we're going to try that. You know,
Okay,
we're bringing
well,
in
thank you.
a couple
Appreciate that.
units, and I think, you know what? I think you're going to sell it because, again, seeing where the trend is going. If I know of 2 or 3 people right now that are using it, that's kind of showing us that maybe the trend is going that direction.
Right.
But
Wow.
you know, it's that, and again, this is how we learn, right? So I'm always having to talk to the reps, and I rely on you guys a lot because I ask you, what are you selling out there?
What's selling best? Right.
Yeah, because you know, at other golf courses, they have professional buyers that their job is just to buy. I wear several hats over here. One of the hats I wear is buying, but I don't really consider myself a true blue professional buyer. So that's why I always ask a lot of questions and say, "Hey, what's going on?" Right? And of course, I'm not going to buy everything that way. I'm going to use my own knowledge as well and try to figure it out. But a lot of times I lean on you guys heavily, right, for that information. But yeah, so that'll be good. So you got the Volvic. We've done well with that, especially with the Marvel. I'm looking forward to the Star Wars.
Star Wars. As soon as I get
Um,
samples, I will show them to you, and we
yeah,
can
and
get an order going.
in fact, even Delmark, he sells the Super Strokes, right? And they have Star Wars Super
Oh,
Stroke
on the
coming out.
grip?
Did you see that?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It's a Darth Vader.
Okay.
It's crazy, but yeah, and you know what? Again, something I see and I say, "Oh, what?" And then I go, "Nope, that's gonna sell." You know.
Yeah.
Um,
You always have a customer out there that, of course, Marvel, but like I said, Disney. Everybody loves Disney.
yes.
And whether the customer will buy it for themselves or they buy it for their children or their collection,
Oh,
and Disney sells everywhere around the world.
yeah. Yes. And you know, people, even adults, right? Because a lot of adults were kids. I mean, all
Right.
adults were kids,
Mhm.
and they have a favorite character.
Right.
And they grow up and they become a golfer, and maybe they're not an avid golfer yet where they are looking for the premium golf ball, and they see the Disney character. Oh, that's my favorite Pluto. I'm getting this. You know what I mean? So that's
Exactly.
kind of how it works, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, so okay, well, this is currently where we're at, right? So you're selling us product. You are you're a golf product manufacturer
Yes.
representative. And you've been doing this since what year again?
Oh, I started, believe it or not, I started back in 1981. So
81.
well over 40 years now.
Was that Daiwa?
Yes, my dad, Bob Tom, who started junior golf
Uh-huh.
back in the 60s, had a passion for golf, also golf equipment, and he picked up the Daiwa golf line back in 1981 in a West Coast show in Los Angeles,
Wow.
or San Diego, I believe it was. But Daiwa was the first Japanese company to come into the U.S.
Right.
And we were fortunate enough to be distributors in Hawaii. And we did that for about 17 years. So Daiwa was known for at the time, more for their fishing
Yes.
product. But their rods were made out of graphite, and the Daiwa golf shafts actually were known for their graphite shafts. So
Wow.
eventually they implemented that into their golf equipment.
Did Daiwa start off as a shaft manufacturer first, and then they started making golf clubs?
No. They started with clubs first, but
Yeah.
then steel shaft, and then they started with the graphite.
Wasn't Daiwa the first composite head?
Yes, that was the first composite head on the market.
I remember
Yes.
that.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember the name.
I don't remember the name either.
Yeah.
But what I do remember is the forged irons,
Mm.
because I had a set of My
Oh.
first good set of irons was a set of Daiwa monodynes.
Monetize. You're right. Good memory.
Yes.
Yes.
And then there was the advisor as well.
exactly.
I still remember because
Yeah.
that's when I first started golfing. I was so impressionable, right? And back in the day, it was like Ben Hogan, right? They had the Apex 2 at the time. Wilson Staff, the FG17. And then, maybe McGregor, right? They had VIPs, right? And then soon thereafter, they had, the Murfields, the Jack Nicklaus Murfields. But the majority of the players were playing Hogan's and Wilson Staff.
Right.
And so I started golfing, about 1983. And I started playing on the Kaiser golf team. And, Scott Head, Shane Abe, Aaron Bengachia, Raymond
all of
Strebek,
them. Sure. The Costellos.
all the great players, right? And they were already, in high school, they were already accomplished players. And they're playing all these blade clubs. And here I come with my chop suey set, right? Hand-me-downs that my dad would get from his friends, just like hunks of junk. But anyway, my dad said, when you break 80, I'm gonna buy you a set. Yeah, I'm gonna buy you a set of irons, anything you want, right? And so in my mind, I was gonna get a set of Wilson Staffs. That's what I wanted. I decided that was the coolest set of clubs. But I was so fortunate because I started playing golf at Hawai Golf Course. Ray Suzuki was a young assistant pro.
Yes.
He took me under his wing and helped me learn how to golf. And he asked me one day, he goes, hey, you want to come caddy for me? And I said, really? Sure. He said, I'm going to play in this Isuzu Kapalua. Remember back in the day when, that's a Century now, right? It used to be the Isuzu, and it wasn't just a tournament of champions. It was an open tournament.
It was invitational.
Yeah.
Right. I think
you probably played in it, right?
No, I never played it, but I think David Ishii won the inaugural
the
tournament.
Inaugural tournament. Oh my gosh.
And he beat some great players like Dale Irwin and Scott Simpson and Craig Stadler.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, anyway, in this particular year, I guess Ray had an invite. He might have won the assistants championship or he did something good.
Right.
He got the invite. So he invited me to be his caddy, and we were roommates with Lance and his caddy. So Ray and I and Lance and his caddy, Wilton, I think his name was.
Right, Wilton, yeah.
Were roommates. And Lance and David were like my idols, right? Growing up, it's like Lance Suzuki, David Ishii. Oh, these are the golf royalty, right? And so we're staying in the same room. And of course, I'm just like looking at his golf clubs. And Lance, can I look at your golf clubs?
Right.
So I'm looking through the golf club. And he had Daiwas.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough to have Lance on our staff for many years with Daiwa.
Wow.
And, Lance has won so many local tournaments.
Yeah.
Probably more than David, because David was traveling back
abroad,
to Japan.
Yeah.
So Lance probably has more tournaments than any other golfer in Hawaii. But yeah, we were fortunate he won many tournaments with the Monodyne iron.
Yes.
And Daiwa equipment.
Yes, and there's case in point, right? You have someone like that representing your line. Here comes this kid who's looking up to him, has his heart set on Wilson Staff irons, looked in his golf deck. I said, that's it. I'm not getting Staffs. I'm getting Daiwas.
And that was your first set.
And that was my first set.
Nice.
So I broke 80. Broke 80 that year. And my dad said, okay, let's go get you a set of golf clubs. So we went to Golf House.
Right.
And I went there and I said, yep, these are the ones. Yep. Nice. So I got those, and I was so happy with those for years. I mean, because back in the day we didn't change irons every year like how everybody does now. Right. I had them for I don't know how many years. So yeah, they saw me through all the way into college. I think I was playing them.
Well, so. I mean, everybody played, like you said, blades back then. And then,
yeah.
Not until maybe the 90s it started changing to maybe cavity back.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So Daiwa, and then from Daiwa, what did you pick up after that?
Well, after 17 years with Daiwa, that's when I got my job at Adidas.
Okay,
so as an employee, I had to give up all my other lines.
That makes sense.
So
yes.
I did that from, I think, 2001 for 15 years
Wow.
with Adidas as an employee.
Wow. So many years with Daiwa, many years with Adidas, Under Armour, and now we're to the present with Scales, Volvic, Bag Boy.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, now let's rewind the clock.
Okay.
Okay. So when did you start golfing?
Started at 10. And
10.
my
And how?
well, my dad, like I mentioned earlier, my dad started junior golf in Hawaii.
What year was that?
1966, Ted Makalena won the Hawaiian Open. And my dad was friends with Ted and say, hey, I don't know whose idea it was, Ted's or my dad's. Let's start a junior golf program in Hawaii. Ted was on board with it. Of course, he was on tour. So my dad kind of started the program in 1968.
Hawaii State Junior Golf
Hawaii.
Association.
It was called Hawaii Junior Golf at the time. It wasn't state. Every island had their own. So it's called Hawaii Junior Golf. All those outer islands were still involved.
But did that organization morph into or grow into the Hawaii State?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So I think my dad started in 1967 or 68, but unfortunately, Ted Makalena passed away in 1968.
Oh my God.
A swimming accident. Unfortunate swimming accident. But my dad ran junior golf for 20 years. So that's kind of when I started golf, because golf was always in our family, always in our house. I mean,
Yeah.
So, being around golf and being around the golf course, I learned how to play. So my dad taught me how. Eventually, we went to Ted Murata at Bayview. We used to go hit balls there. We used to drive from Mauna Loa. That time, of course, there was no, H3 or so. We had to come through the Pali.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I learned how to play golf when I was 10.
But Ted Murata on the island of Oahu, he was kind of like one of the go-to guys.
Yes,
right?
he was one of the
people learned from
best
him.
instructors for everyone, but a lot of juniors. He had junior classes at Bayview. Yes.
Yeah, because I know a lot of the people in our generation. A lot of them say they learned from Ted Murata at Bayview, right?
Bayview.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so you got the lessons from Ted Murata.
Started junior golf.
Yep.
Fortunately enough, around golf all the time. Got to caddy for a lot of good players.
Oh, really?
At a young age. So,
wow.
Because my dad knew, a lot of good players, and back then I caddied for Alan Yamamoto.
Oh my gosh.
Art Fujita.
Really?
Yeah, Dan Nishimoto. I mean, and my sister also caddied. So we caddied for some of the best players in the whole state, and that's how we really learned the game. I mean, you caddy for good players. You kind of learn what they do, and real fortunate to be around a lot of good players.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's awesome. And so you started at 10, and about what age did you start to blossom? When did you start to win tournaments?
Well, I played junior golf for years. Probably about 14 or 15, I started to get a little better. Yeah, and at that time, then I started taking lessons from Ron Castillo.
Oh, wow.
And try to improve my swing and my game.
Yeah.
And
at a Hawaii Kai golf course.
Yeah, at Hawaii Kai, and Ron was so good about come out and practice, get as many golf balls as you want, play as much as you like. And of course, a little before your time, but you eventually did that same thing.
Yeah, no, I did. I mean, because...
And I got to meet all the Castillo kids. I mean, as you know, play with them. Laurie and Michael, Joey, they all were there.
Wow.
Ricky.
So, I grew up playing golf at Hawaii Kai as well. So, so you started blossoming about the age of 14, 15, and you
15.
started winning a lot of the local events.
Well, not so much winning. Just played all the local events, try to get experience. Won a few junior tournaments, maybe when I was about 16 or so.
Okay.
I mean, still always in the shadow of David Ishii and Charles Baranaba. Those guys were they were the best players back then.
So,
Stan Souza was a good player, and the Regals had the brothers were really good. So, but I played high school golf at McKinley, and then fortunately, my senior year at at Turtle Bay. At that time, it was called Kuilima.
Yeah, Del Webb's Kuilima.
Yes, back in 1974. So I was had a good week, and I won the state high school.
You did.
My senior year.
Nice.
Right.
Against all of that competition.
Yeah.
What did you shoot? Do you remember?
Well, my score wasn't that great. I shot 75, which was actually 6 over par, but it was blowing 25 miles an hour.
Right, and with inferior equipment, right?
Well,
a lot of golf balls, persimmon woods, blade irons, and blade putters, and only 56-degree wedge, no 60-degree wedge.
One wedge in the bank.
No hybrids, right? I mean, my goodness, I mean, yeah, that's a different day and age. So 75 is a darn good score. Probably equates to like 70 right now or something like that, right?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to win that, and I had already committed to go to USC to play on a team.
Nice.
So that was in the spring of '74, and actually USC I was a walk-on, and earned my scholarship after my first year.
Really?
So
wow, so you went there academically to begin with.
Well, I went there to play golf, but I could have gone to Miami. I had a partial scholarship offer there, and then David Ishii was at Houston. They offered me a partial scholarship, and for some reason I just wanted to stay on the West Coast, so I turned down those scholarship offers.
Wow!
And maybe my dad wasn't too happy with that.
That's a bold move, right?
So I walked on. I played really good my freshman year. So I played with Craig Stadler for 1 year, and he was just coming off a U.S. amateur win. Oh my gosh. And Scott Simpson. So got to play with Scott for 3 years.
U.S. Open champion.
U.S. Open champion. When I was with him at USC, he won NCAA individuals 2 times.
2 times.
2 times, yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. So I still remain good friends with Scott. He's a resident of Kailua.
He's the head coach for the men's team now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He loves it. He loves coaching. He loves teaching.
He's such a nice man. I don't know him very well, but in every time I've had an interaction with him, such a gentleman. So humble, soft-spoken.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You'd never know that.
He's kind of like David Ishii, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you can't say this for everyone, but it is definitely a character trait of local boys, right? They're amazing. But okay, so when you're at USC, and any wins up there?
No wins. I was just happy to be on the team.
Yeah, well, heck,
I was just
a great team.
fighting to make the travel squad and just play my 4 years of golf. So which I did. I have no regrets.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
And playing golf and going to school at the same time, athlete and going to school was very, very difficult because golf took a lot of time.
Well, yeah. I mean, that school is difficult academically and athletically.
Wow.
I mean, it's top shelf for both.
Golf was great, but I tell you what, football was awesome in the 70s.
Yes.
But USC was known for their football.
Who was their notable player in your time?
In my first year, I was like Anthony Davis. And then Ricky Bell was after that.
That's the one I was
And then Charles White was my last year.
Wow.
So, they're all like Heisman candidates.
Yeah. I don't know why, but for some reason, Ricky Bell is the one that I remember so much.
And so before I got there, of course, it was OJ, which we would talk about.
Right.
Then after I left, it was Marcus Allen. So just in those, 10, 15 years. Incredible football history at USC.
So, okay, so did you go there for 4 years, or was
I went there for 4.5 years.
4.5 years, okay.
To graduate.
Yep. And then when you graduated, did you stay up there or did you come home?
I came home. I actually didn't know what I was going to do.
Oh, okay.
I actually got a job with United Airlines.
Oh, really?
In Chicago.
In Chicago? How did that happen?
Well, when you get hired, you don't really have
you went for a job interview and they said, okay, we have a job.
You're going to go to
Chicago.
So I was a flight attendant for a couple of years. I wanted to travel the world.
I can see you being a flight attendant.
And so I did it for a couple of years. It was fun. And then I got laid off and moved back.
Times are slow.
Yeah, I think the economy or something was bad then. And so I moved back home, started working for my dad, and that's how I got into golf.
Was it like a carpet company or something like that?
Yes. So
I thought I remembered something about carpet company.
My dad, his whole life, pretty much, he was in the carpet and drapery business. And then the golf business was like a side thing for him, which I eventually took over. And that's how I got into golf. And then I had more time to, because I was into golf, I had more time to play. And I started playing in all the local tournaments.
Right.
And in the 80s, that's when I played most of my
Right.
competition. And
Yeah.
fortunate enough to win a few tournaments in that decade.
Yeah.